And welcome in, everybody. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. Happy Friday evening. We made it through the work week. Hooray! I'm very excited to get through the work week and get hockey back on tonight. We got game six, Stanley Cup final, Edmonton, Florida, up there in Alberta. Should be a crazy crowd up there tonight. Should be a great atmosphere. Looking forward to it. We do have some news from around the NHL today, a couple of transactions to talk about. But most importantly, we have news out of the state of Arizona. The Arizona State Land Department has canceled their June 27th land auction. This was the parcel of land in North Phoenix that Alex Morello and his group were looking to purchase to put up an arena, hotels, restaurants, all the fixings to try to get a team back into that area. Uh, Word from this department is that there's a need for a special use permit, uh, that anybody applying for the auction needs to have in place. It just seems a little bit odd that with all the months ramping up to this, that this is only coming out now. Some sort of miscommunication someplace. Either Murella's group didn't do their homework and didn't know that was needed, or the department didn't communicate it. Not really sure, but really an unfortunate hiccup in what's been a series of hiccups for hockey in Arizona. So now Murella's going to have to go get this permit. They haven't rescheduled this auction yet. There's no real timeline or timetable as far as this coming back up. It's definitely a setback. Murello has 5 years to get the arena secured, get it built, in order to potentially get that team back in the state of Arizona and the Phoenix area. So just unfortunate. It just feels like hockey in Arizona is a little bit doomed right now. And it's really good on the NHL that they got the team actually out of there and to Utah. I think that this definitely would have been a death blow had the team still been in that area. So see what happens. If you're a fan living in Arizona, fan of the Coyotes, what are your thoughts? Would love to hear from you. Leave those comments down below. We do have a retirement to talk about today out of Colorado. Andrew Cogliano does retire today. Uh, Played 1,294 games between Edmonton, Anaheim, Dallas, San Jose, and Colorado. In those games, he had 190 goals, 274 assists for 464 points. Was a cup winner in 2022 there with the Avalanche. So good on him. Congrats to him. I do believe he's staying in the organization in some sort of capacity. So uh, good on him. Good long career. Out of Columbus, we do have Cheetahkov, forward, 23-year-old forward, re-signing today, 2-year extension, 2.1 million per season. Last year, he had 16 goals, 13 assists for 29 points in 53 games. So good young forward, decent contract for him. With Columbus, we are still waiting to hear what they're going to do with their head coach position. Don Waddell did have some availability with the media this week. Still waiting there. And the other news out of Columbus is there's a little bit of chatter around they had the number 4 pick in the draft this year, and word is that they're listening to offers, that they're open to potentially moving that pick. It certainly doesn't mean that they do, but they're definitely taking phone calls. So we'll see what happens there too. Out of Pittsburgh, goalie Alex Nedeljkovic, 28 years old, does sign a 2-year extension. I think that happened yesterday. 2.5 million per. They're backing up Jari. Played in 38 games this past season, was 18-7-0, 2.97 goals against average with a 9.02 save percentage. Good backup. Jari does tend to get a little bit injured throughout each season, so I think locking him up to a couple more years. Still only 28 years old. Yeah, I think money well spent there for Pittsburgh. There was a minor trade also that went down between New Jersey and Minnesota. Not going to talk too much about this one, but you have Graham Clark, forward, going to the Wild for Adam Beckman. Both of these kids are 23, and they were oddly enough both selected in the 2019 third round, only 5 picks apart. So again, just a little minor trade. Nothing that's going to crash the airwaves or anything, but just wanted to make sure we reported on that one. Uh, Chatter around Ottawa and Linus Allmark does seem to be kind of ramping up and intensifying. There's been a lot of insiders. I know Elliot Friedman talked about this, that there's potential that where Allmark doesn't have an extension in place, he's just got the 1 year left, that could definitely be holding up some of the negotiations between Ottawa and Boston. But there is the noise is definitely getting louder. Smoke is getting thicker around this one. We'll see what happens with it. We know that we've had a couple goalies move this week, so there's some players now off the table for Linus. And I guess end of the day, Boston doesn't have to trade him. We know all the reasons why they should with the $5 million cap hit. You know, you've got Swayman that you want to lock up, and you've got a ton of other needs. Um, so I do wonder if Sweeney's taking that approach of, hey, if we get the right deal, great. If we don't, great, we'll keep him. He's a great goaltender. Uh, don't know. I do think something does probably eventually happen here with Ottawa. And I do, like I said in the last video, I do think it probably happens before the draft here coming up next week. Uh, Mark Diver from New England Hockey Journal also reporting today, speaking of goalies, that the Bruins and Brandon Bussey, province starter last year, are getting closer to a new contract. Bussey is 25 and an RFA. Had a really good year in Providence last year and is really thought of as that potential replacement if Allmark is to move on. Could make a really good 1-2 pairing with Swayman. They're both 25. He did actually play down in Portland here with the Mariners back in 22-23, just for 4 games. So he has a little bit of that history here in Portland as well. So, like we said, we got Game 6 tonight, guys. Should be really exciting. Who do you guys have? You know, this series has been so much fun, and it was looking like kind of a dud. 3 games in, Florida getting that 3-game lead, and you felt like, oh, this is just really kind of a. I mean, the games were exciting, but just kind of a snooze fest. And here we got Edmonton winning 2 in a row. We've gone from this being maybe a dud of a series to maybe an epic, unforgettable series if Edmonton can pull this off tonight and force a game 7. Uh, it's going to be a lot of fun. It does feel like over the past couple games that Edmonton has figured something out. It feels like they've controlled the pace of play for the most part. Now, Florida did get the skates going there in the third period of the last game, put a lot of pressure on Edmonton. Um, but Edmonton's getting more of those rush chances, and I think overall they are uh, controlling that pace. Does that continue tonight? Does momentum carry over? Listening to a lot of the pundits and the experts, some people say, "Oh, there's no momentum in the playoffs." Some other people say, "No, there's definitely momentum in the playoffs." I don't know. Should be a lot of fun. Should be, like I said, an electric environment up there in Edmonton tonight. Start of the series, I picked Florida in 7, so I'm gonna stick with that. I do think Edmonton wins tonight. I'm going 5-2. I want to see some more Connor McDavid magic. Haven't talked about kind of the historic pace he's on, but he's right up there. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but he's, I think, really close to Gretzky's record of playoff points in a playoff series or in a playoff season. So what he's doing is historic and just again, so much fun to watch. So I'm going to enjoy it. I hope you all enjoy it as well. And we will talk to you all again soon.